Hello and welcome to We Got Issues, a special edition version where we are going to be breaking down Captain America: Brave New World. I'm Brian Compton, aka BComp, and joining me always is Josh Markwith, the Falcon to my Bucky. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Oh wow. So again, another sidekick to the sidekick.
Yeah.
He just keeps he keep going down a rung. But now I'm Captain America, so now I'm like above.
Well, so was Bucky. He was Captain America at one point, you know. So we're both.
It's all in flux. It's all in.
It is. It really is.
Life's a circle, man. Life's a circle.
Time is a flat circle. That's what.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah. All right.
It's totally true, by the way.
Yeah. Oh man. Did you ever watch that True Detective?
Oh yeah, I watched all of them.
Just the first. You'll watch all of them. Is the first season the best one?
But you know what? It is the best one, but I really enjoyed season 3 a lot. I thought season 4 was fun too. 2 was just absolute trash, but I really liked 3. I honestly thought Steven Dorff, I thought he was the unsung hero in that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't get me wrong. I really like Mahershala Ali, but I thought Steven Dorff just sang in season 3. I was like, man, from Blade to this. All right, buddy, let's do it.
Blade with another perspective blade.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, flat circle. It's all connected.
Time is a flat circle.
And the second one was with
Vince Vaughn
and
Colin Farrell. Yeah, Colin Farrell and Taylor Kitsch, I believe, who played Gambit. So if we're gonna really bring it back, let's do it.
It's at this point, who's not going to be in the MCU or in a superhero thing?
Yeah, I mean, you had Woody Harrelson in season 1; he was Carnage. I mean, so there you go.
Yeah, I think McConaughey is the only one. That's the only holdout so far.
That's holdout so far. Don't worry. Yeah. You drive enough money up to his house, he'll be all right.
All right. Who do you think you could be, though? That's the thing too.
It's gonna sound stupid. It's too late for it, but he would have been a good Sentry.
That would be pretty good. Yeah, I could see the flowing golden hair and
the long hair, and you could do like an older Sentry and kind of go from there. But that's
flying, kind of like coming at you is like.
And that's what I love about those superheroes. I get older, they stay nothing.
Oh well, it's getting weird. Getting weird. I've only seen the first season of True Detective, so
you can skip 2, go to 3. Just
my wife loved the latest one with Jodie Foster and everybody. So
totally fun.
I'll get to it. I'll get to when I have time, which I don't have any because I am too busy watching all these wonderful Marvel MCU movies and kind of transitioning to that, right?
Nice transition.
And as Brian said in the intro, and as we discussed in our last episode, Captain America: Brave New World, that has dropped. And we wanted really to do a special edition where we don't really talk about a comic book right now. We're going to talk about an MCU project. It's kind of weird. It's going into a different medium, a different, entertainment content.
It's all tied together. It's comic books. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the base. And we just thought we'd want to give kind of our general thoughts after seeing the movie and just kind of seeing what kind of tied in that we caught to different comic books and see if this movie does in fact bring MCU into a brave new world.
But before we can do that, sponsor time, Josh.
Sponsor time?
You got this one?
Yeah, I'll do this one because I snuck some of these into the movie theater with me on this one. It was great. They were great movie snacks.
Oh, nice.
And they made the movie more mysterious.
It needed it.
Yeah. Well, and if you're like me and you're on the lookout for something a little more weird than your run-of-the-mill snacks, then you need to do yourself a favor and check out Duff and Shaw Snacks. From sour cherry Mothman eggs to forbidden sour gummies, Duff and Shaw Snacks and candy are curated from the most mysterious and undiscovered places on planet Earth, uncovering flavors that will give you stories to tell your grandchildren. Now go to duffandshaw.com/issues today and check out all they've got and more. That's duffandshaw.com/issues.
We appreciate anybody who actually does that because we actually do get like, it
helps the podcast.
Yeah, it helps the podcast.
It helps the podcast and helps us out, which is, greatly appreciated. And it's great snacks. I can tell from experience. I mean, the snacks are great. I had the dark chocolate almonds and they were great. And then the Nessie eggs
Mhm.
are really good, the golden Nessie eggs, and so it's all good stuff. So please check them out and check out at the URL duffandsean.com/issues.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, we're gonna start with a spoiler-free, or try to keep it spoiler-free thoughts on the movie itself, so you can kind of know what you're getting into, and then from there, we're gonna want you, if you haven't seen it yet, you're gonna want to
We
pause.
are going to spoil the shit out of this.
Yes, we'll let you know, but we'll want you to pause, go see it, and then come back to this podcast and listen to us talk about it in depth and more behind the scenes stuff and everything like that. We're not going to go as deep as some other people do,
Yeah.
kind of like new rock stars. We're not going to go like this,
Well, I'm
this,
not doing
this, and
that.
this. Did you see this little
I
page
was
to
raised.
indicate something else? So
I had to do that in hers back in the day, baby. Not doing
yeah,
that
yeah.
ever again.
No, we like to enjoy it more than
Yeah,
try to
exactly.
find it. But so Brian, what are your kind of your first general thoughts
Spoiler
on
free
it?
thoughts. I'm going to be
Spoiler free
honest.
thoughts.
I found the movie to be completely safe. And I thought it was just fine. I thought the acting was very good, but overall, I found that it lacked the edge that it needed. And I don't want to say, well, I found it retread a lot of plot points from previous films. And
Mm-hmm.
again, it's not that it was bad. It's just that it also wasn't like, oh my God. Like when I saw Winter Soldier, I walked out with my jaw dropped. This one, I was like, it was fine. It was fine. Like I wasn't offensive or anything like that, but it wasn't like, man, that's kind of like where I'm at. I think it was just the best word for it is safe.
I got you. Yeah, I agree with that. I thought it was a fun movie. Again, I'm not as hard on it as a lot of
Mhm.
critics are, but I
Yeah.
say it's good. I don't think it was, oh my God, great, but I think it was still a fun start to this next couple months that we're gonna have of
Mhm.
different movie and just different comic book stuff coming up. I
Yeah.
mean, this is gonna be, March, and then May, then June, July. So
Yeah.
I think it's a good start to the season,
Mhm.
and it brought me back to the movie theater, which is great. So
Okay. I
I thought
haven't
it was a
stopped
fun
going to the
movie.
movie theater.
No, I mean, like I haven't gone since the last year.
Okay.
So,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
and by last year I mean just December. But I still think it was a fun movie, and I think,
Mhm.
like you said, it was a safe one, but it was something that I wasn't offended by. Like, I wasn't
But
like, oh, that's horrible.
yeah, I mean, well, when do you want to get to spoilers? Because like I'm about to, say some
Hey,
shit.
well, that's our first like spoiler free thoughts.
Mhm.
It's tough to talk about it too much spoiler free because there's a
Yep.
lot of stuff to get into. So here's the point where you're just going to pause, go watch
Spoiler
it.
warning.
Yes,
Spoiler
you're
warning.
going to pause and we're going to go watch it and then come back.
John, are you back?
Are you back? Welcome back. Welcome back to
Welcome
We Got
back.
Issues.
Yeah, I thought it retread almost entirely all of Winter Soldier. I didn't think that it did anything different or unique with that. I mean, like if you look at the plot points of the movie, it's basically Cap and his sidekick and his team of, military got to go stop a terrorist. He fights a lackey, and then you have a Manchurian style candidate with code words that's causing people to go nuts and take shots at people. And then there's a secret base with a brilliant villain who's been under lock and key developing weapons and plans for the government. And then the villain turns out to be an older respected actor that we've seen before. You know what I mean? Which movie is that? That's literally Winter Soldier and Brave New World. You even have a scene where a guy jumps through a window. You know what I mean? Like it was a lot of like, that dramatic thing. And I don't think it was a bad movie. I just think that it didn't do anything, especially when you have an actor like Anthony Mackie, who's a really good actor, actually. You've been saying like he's the new Cap, he's the new Cap. It's like you have finally a black man playing that role, and they almost don't even reference the fact that he's black. It's like, oh, you could have literally just color swapped him with Chris Evans, and it wouldn't have mattered. You know what I mean? It didn't really matter, and I thought that was kind of crazy. The fact that like he has his white suit and then he puts on the blue suit. You know what I mean? Like again, Winter Soldier all over again. I felt like they could have done so much more with it. They could have really got into the politics of it. They could have gotten into the racial identity aspect of it. You know what I mean? But I just feel like they just kind of stopped short because they didn't want to offend anybody. That's me. If I'm going to give it really shitty.
No, I got you. And I think they don't do it to the extent that I think that you've wanted, but the whole
Mhm.
filling in the shoes, I think that was
Yeah.
more filling Cap's shoes than it was being someone like him. I think a lot of his interaction with Isaiah, it kind of touched on that, but like you
But it's
said,
wrong. It touched on it. It
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
go after it. It's like, Isaiah, it's like, yeah, he was experiment. Essentially, it's the Tuskegee experiments. Like they essentially, they took this man against his and put him with a serum and then made him go out there and work for the government and then like, oh, just kidding, threw you in prison. And it was like you really could have got into it. I mean, if they'd opened with like a flashback of like they mentioned like him fighting those soldiers in Korea or saving his soldiers in Korea, like and opened with that, like a flashback in 1970 or 1960 or whatever, 1950, sorry, Korea was 1950, that would have been dope. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
hmm
really show us what this man had done and what, and how the government screwed him over. You know what I mean? Instead of just kind of like it was tell, don't show.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying for sure. And with that, I think when you're alluding to the Brave New World being the same as Winter Soldier, I kind of had a thought. It seemed like what they did with Thor Ragnarok, where they kind of
Mm.
tried to meld a Hulk story into
Yeah.
the different character. How
Yeah.
Ragnarok was, it was Planet Hulk, but framed within the Thor
Yeah.
movie, and like this one was more, it seemed like more of like a Hulk movie because you have the leader, you have
Yeah.
Sabra, you have
Yeah.
Red
Oh
Hulk,
yeah.
you have Thunderbolt Ross, you have Betty Ross. I mean, just without the Hulk, and I think Thor Ragnarok did it a little bit better, or not a
Yeah.
little bit better. It did a lot better. It just didn't seem like it was a Captain America movie too much. It did have that political thriller and the
Yeah.
intrigue, but it
Yeah.
was more of just with a Hulk kind
Hulk
of
veneer almost in a way.
like it was like yeah, it was a gamma radiation veneer.
Yeah. Again, I did not hate the movie. At no point was like, fuck this movie. It was like, it was fine. It
Yeah,
was fine. But, we do, these movies have been around now for what, like 15, 20 years now at this point? I mean, or 20, 15 years at least, right? The
hmm
MCU films have been around plus 15 years. It's like you think they would have dialed in the formula a little bit better for this one, especially knowing how much pressure is going into this movie post all the Disney Plus, post all of the Phase 4 stuff that kind of fell apart. So I guess I had a little bit higher expectations for it. And again, it's not that it was bad. It wasn't bad. It was just fine. You know,
yeah,
I wish it had that grit or that edge. And I just think it was missing it a little bit. You'd see elements of it where like that was cool. And again, I don't think the actors did bad. I thought like, I like the guy who played Falcon was it Danny Ramirez, I thought he did a great job. Ultimately, though, I just think that it lost the edge. It didn't have that edge I wanted. It didn't have that bite I was looking for, I guess. And again, not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. And I think the critics are being overly harsh. Like all the
I
reviews
think
I
so
was
too.
reading was like, Jesus, this is the worst movie ever. Like, did a clown town? It was like, did a clown make this movie? It was like, and I remember it was like watching. Like, no, it's perfectly serviceable. It's just there was also no mystery for a movie that's built on mystery. All the mystery was given away in all the
All
trailers
the
and all the
trailers, yeah.
promos. There was nothing to be revealed. That was really upsetting to me.
It was one of those movies that was killed by the marketing. And
Absolutely.
I mean, I do understand the reason for like you want to sell the tickets, so of course you're
Yeah.
gonna have Harrison Ford as Red Hulk. But that
I
would have
don't
been
mind
such a
that.
better twist it seemed like a third act twist at the end.
Yeah.
Because I think if it wasn't, they would have had him kind of turn earlier and then come back
Yeah.
again or something.
Well, and the other thing too was like the whole Celestial Island with adamantium. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I only found out about that like 5 days before like the movie came out. Because I wasn't really, again, I kind of kept the movie off my radar. I don't really watch trailers anymore. And I was like, oh, you're revealing that? That's cool. That would have been nice to just know go into the film. Like,
hmm
what? Not knowing going into the movie. Yeah, like almost every single piece of the plot was revealed. Like, I'm like, okay, I know that's fair. I know Harrison Ford's the Hulk. Like, that's not a big thing.
Yeah.
And that's another thing right there. It was like I felt like the Hulk, we talked about this last episode. The Red Hulk is smart. He is intelligent. He retains his knowledge. Yeah, he's more aggressive, he's more, angry and rageful, but he is still like smart. This was just it was a palette swap. Well, it's a take, stupid Hulk and throw red on him and we're good to go.
It didn't have the same emotion I think they were trying to go for with him turning into the
Mm.
Hulk. I didn't get the same like, oh no, like when he
Yeah.
turned into it. And just just like we said, the plot seems the same. Just to go over light explainer, because a lot of other people, we have seen it, a couple days ago and still kind of digesting it. But just to go over again, A Brave New World is about the new Captain America, Sam Wilson, trying to stop an international treaty from falling apart. And it's about the new Celestial Island because of the adamantium. And he's also thwarting a plan against the newly elected president, Thunderbolt Ross, a revenge plan from the leader, and that's it in
Yeah.
a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. And I think, again, like a lot of we said, it was given away in the marketing. Like
Yeah.
the leader would have been a great reveal, and
Yeah.
I think you should have concentrated in either the leader
Mhm.
or Red Hulk, Thunderbolt Ross. So I mean,
Well,
either
yeah,
or.
like I said, we talked about this briefly via text, but I would have loved some kind of plot where it was like, no, the Red Hulk was behind it all, and maybe it was like a different personality within Harrison, or not Harrison Ford, but within Thunderbolt Ross, that was like manipulating things, and he had no idea what was going on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a little two-facey or whatever, but it's not
Something
outside
else.
the realm of Hulk to do that, where like he would, Bruce Banner would black out and Hulk would take over. You know what I mean? Like you could do a thing like that. That's just me.
I think it would add other layers to the character, and just like you said, the mystery, and like
Yeah,
who's actually working for who. They try to do the whole Ross was actually not that great of a person, and
yeah,
behind the scenes. I guess is more, like you said, a tell not show. I think they should have
yeah.
shown more of Ross dealing with Samuel Strands, because I mean, I don't think they were in a scene together ever in that movie.
It was Sam
Well, now that
Stearns and
and Ross,
yeah.
like they
No,
were never face to face.
I don't think so. I mean, honestly, no one remembers Incredible Hulk like at all, like at all.
No, I mean in this movie,
Oh no, no, no. That was all. It was all
yeah,
via phone. It was all via phone.
yeah.
Yeah,
So and then no, they definitely were in Incredible
in the
Hulk.
original.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's what I'm
and
saying. It was all via phone call, and it's all been like, oh, I picked up this file, and there's these biometrics right here. It's like, oh no.
yeah, and I think we needed to have the face to face, or
Yeah.
just something to really connect you to visually connect you to each other.
Well, and that's where flashbacks. This is something that normally the MCU doesn't shy away from when you like de-age people. You know, what I mean, they already de-aged Harrison Ford for Indiana Jones. How awesome would it have been to see like that version? De-aged. Harrison Ford with a de-aged Tim Blake Nelson. You know what I mean?
Or even just have the whole reason for the revenge plot is that Samuel Stearns was supposed to, or the leader was supposed to be pardoned once Ross won the election and stuff. You
Yeah.
can just have that scene of where Ross is just like, what? No, I need you still. So
Yeah.
you're not pardoned. I still need you in my pocket. So even just that, you don't even have to de-age anybody. It's just
That's true too.
still in the same timeline.
That's true. Totally true.
You can even still have him in the shadows and everything like that
Yeah.
too. So it's all, I think, just more of the showing of him wanting to take his revenge, just show him wanting the reason for the whole thing. So
Yeah, like I said before, I think again, it lacked bite, it lacked edge, it was very safe, and there was nothing to be gained, like like outside of like I said, everything we saw in the promotional materials, like it was all there, it was all laid out for us, and I kind of wish there was just something else to it, But if you're looking for just like a movie where Captain America kicks ass and you got cool special effects and a Hulk raging, well, this is the movie for you.
yeah, when the marketing happens on a movie like that, or marketing like that happens on a movie, it kind of shows how the studio doesn't have that much faith in the movie.
It's absolutely
so they're
correct.
showing everything else. So that's what kind of also put me not. I mean, I was still very excited for it. I mean, I talked about it last episode. I was still very excited for it. It's just, I think when I saw it, I still liked everything. It's just, it wasn't the, oh my God, but it wasn't the Winter Soldier. Oh my God, it wasn't. Which again, we also said this last time. Like the bar is pretty high for MCU movies.
Yeah.
So it's not. You're not going to hit everything out of the park, but I think this is a solid double.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I think they got on base. I don't know if it was a double for me, but I'll say they got on base. Like I said, they didn't whiff it bad. They didn't like, what I mean? Like it wasn't a strikeout. It wasn't even a ball. It was like, oh, we bunted or whatever. Like, you got on base.
Yeah.
And again, it was totally fine. It wasn't. again, I do think that critics are being overly harsh about it.
Yeah. I think also
In my
because it's been a while since we've
Yeah.
had an MCU project, I think everybody's waiting for, and
Yeah.
then they're using behind the scenes politics of it to kind of give a
Yeah.
reason for that. I guess put a bad taste in their mouths already, but
Yeah.
there's a reason why the Rotten Tomato score is completely lopsided.
Yeah, it's lopsided. So it's like 50% to 80%, something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, which again, it points out like people enjoyed it. It made money. I mean, was it like 200 million in its opening weekend? That's not bad. Yeah.
yeah, no, it's not bad, and that bar is, I guess, really high again for those movies. So if you don't hit like astronomical numbers, is it a Marvel positive?
Success.
It's
Yeah.
success. So,
I think it will be in the long run. Again, there's some cool stuff that happened in it, that does kind of set up the rest of the MCU for down the road, whether it's like, oh, we're going to restart the Avengers or, that kind of stuff. I
yeah,
thought that was kind of cool.
and it had a lot of good people behind it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and like, talking about the people behind it, like, what did you think of the director? I believe it was Julius Ona who did it.
Yeah, Julie Sona, who is somewhat of an unknown, which isn't unusual for the MCU.
No, not at all.
But he's only worked on things like Cloverfield, Paradox,
Ooh,
Loose,
that's not.
yeah, and The Girl is in Trouble.
Mm,
Are his bigger movies. He's done a lot of shorts and music videos, and actually, The Girl is in Trouble is the reason why he had
it was
gotten this
Octavia
job.
Spencer, right? She
Yes,
she made it happen.
yeah, she worked with him on the Girls in Trouble, and
Mm-hmm.
she had called Anthony Mackie and just other people who were involved. And the story was that he said was that she called him. She said, "My friend here is up for the job. You need to give
You.
it to him. He's great, or else I'm going to come down to New Orleans." And he's like, "Well,
That's
when
right.
she
Yeah, I
says
saw that.
that, you have to get it to work." So, and I think it was he had some good stuff. It was all. I
Yeah.
think he was also bogged down by all the reshoots. I think it's
Oh
one of those.
yeah. Well, there was like what 5 credited screenwriters on this film. I mean, obviously, it was like it was like he was one of the. I think he was one of the writers on it as well. But there was like 5 writers on this film, and that probably doesn't count all the uncredited rewrites that happened as well. And there was like some really cool stuff in there. I loved the stuff with Isaiah Bradley, like
Yeah,
when there's like that whole White House scene and he grabs the table and just flings it. Like I loved a lot of that action. Him jumping through the window, great. I believe that man, even though he was like what 80, was like could do that. That dude
right.
was built like a brick house.
And I just love when, just as another full circle thing,
Mhm.
and I might be wrong if I just remember this correctly, where they had arrested him or stopped him was at the Korean War Memorial.
Oh, was it? That's cool.
I believe so. I mean, again,
Okay.
I was there a couple months ago. I could be misremembering, but
So the ironic, that'd be see, that's good. Like that's a good like
yeah.
nice little synergy right there.
And the aerial fight, the dog fight scenes were super
Yeah.
awesome. Super, for lack of a better word,
It's like
super
it's Top
awesome.
Gun. It was Top Gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
and
get
this
Sam Wilson surfing on a missile. That was
yeah, that's pretty funny. Like there's some cool stuff like that, like I said, and speaking of Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie, I thought he did fine. I thought I think he's like realizing, and it's kind of twofold for him. He's like, not only is he living up to the legacy of Captain America, the actor is now living up to the legacy of Chris Evans, who's been in that role
right.
for how many years. I thought he did fine. I thought he did
I
fine,
thought it was great. I've
Yeah.
heard people that didn't think that he kind of carried the movie. I thought he carried the movie very
Yeah.
well. I mean, especially when you're in a movie with, all
A
these
Red
other
Hulk.
people.
Also a
Well,
big
Red Hulk.
red CGI monster,
Right. And I mean, a lot of heavy hitters as well. Just you're acting around. You
Mhm.
have to be able to carry the movie
Yeah.
with
I,
this
I
stuff.
this is gonna sound essy, but like I wonder how much of that is just like, oh, because he's black, like what I mean? Like, oh, fuck off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I hate this. That's just people being shitty. You know what I mean? I'm sorry.
It's no, yeah, it's people just not giving them a chance right away, which is so
Yeah.
stupid.
He's
Because I
fine. He's
mean,
a good actor.
he's a great actor. I loved him. I mean, everybody should know him as Papa Doc in 8 Mile. But
Mhm.
if you haven't seen Twisted Metal, he's awesome in
I
Twisted
heard he's
Metal,
really fun in
the
that. Yeah,
Peacock show.
yeah.
He's really fun in that. And then he's done amazing as Sam Wilson in all the other MCU projects.
Mhm. Yeah. He has good chemistry. And like that's the other thing. It's like speaking of that, his co-star was Danny Ramirez, who played the Falcon. Their chemistry was great. It was very similar to Chris and Scarlett Johansson. Like had a good
hmm
the Black Widow, and or I mean like had a good like back and forth. And I was like, I believe these guys have been friends. you know?
Yeah, and it carried over from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, and
Yeah.
it was a good kind of no. He was mentored by Cap, and now he's trying to mentor this guy, and it's just kind of that cool passing a torch to pass a torch.
I'll be completely honest, I completely forgot that he was in that show. I think I saw that show once and went through one ear, out the other. And again, that was just because that show had a litany of problems, COVID and
Yeah, and
COVID.
he wasn't in it too much, but
Okay.
he was in a lot of like the bookend scenes. He was the guy who was like initially uh investigating the Flag Smashers, like he was
Mm,
there in a
yeah.
little bit. So but he was fun. I really liked his energy, and
Yeah.
just he kind of brought up brevity, if that's the right word,
Yeah.
brevity
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
And
He was
he's a
fun.
yeah,
Yeah. Like I
he's the
said, it
guy
was
behind the chair.
it was very much like that, almost like a Maverick and Goose situation, kind of in its own way.
Harrison Ford,
Let's
of
do it,
course.
baby.
Like if you haven't seen, I don't know what other stuff has Harrison Ford been in. Has he been in
He
anything
was
like
in
big?
this. He was in this like really small film. I forget what it was called. I think it was like Death Becomes Her or something like that. Maybe was that? No, that wasn't him. Was it? What was he in? I don't remember.
Witness,
Witness. Maybe that was it.
where he was an Amish.
Yeah, the Amish
He had
cop. I think
the
so. It was a
Amish
little
cop,
film.
or what's that big trilogy he was part of? Was it no?
I mean,
Was it? You mean Jack Ryan stuff?
yeah.
Yeah.
There's like, well, that was only two parts. He was only Jack Ryan twice in Clear
Oh
Present
right.
Danger and Patriot Games, which I actually really, despite all of its like conservative leanings, I really legitimately like those movies.
Oh
I
yeah,
really
those
do.
that's what this one was kind of trying to be in that
Yeah.
realm of just a political thriller and the mystery within a corrupt system.
I love a good political thriller, to be honest, whether it's, this or, well, this, but like, Winter Soldier, obviously, but I mean, like, whether it's like, 3 Days of the Condor or Sneakers, stuff like, I not even Sneakers is a political thriller, but you know what I mean? Like, I love that
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of stuff. I really do. Um, yes, obviously Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and pretty much the hero of our childhood, Harrison Ford
Air
is.
Force One.
Air Force One is great.
Get off my plane. Of course, he was replacing William
Yeah, William
Hurt as
Hurt. Yeah.
Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I feel like there was very much the obviously you have to replace him, but it's like William Hurt died, I believe, like he was like 70 when he passed away, or maybe he's like 72. Harrison Ford's pushing 80, 82 right now.
Mhm.
It's like, well, I don't know if that was the best idea, or you're not bringing this character back. It sounds like if Red Hulk comes back at this point, it's going to have to be his General Maverick, right?
I would think so, or just like we said, DH him, or Harrison Ford doesn't seem like a guy who's too against being AI'd.
He's all about the paycheck right now.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, like that guy's been, he's done 2 TV series, and last he did that Yellowstone miniseries. He's on
It's still going,
yeah, he's on that Shrinking miniseries over on, or not miniseries, but series over on Apple TV.
which is
And obviously,
amazing.
oh, that show's great, and he's playing himself, curmudgeony
Yeah.
old man.
Right.
I genuinely like. I always like Harrison Ford, even when he's like phoning it in, which he doesn't
Yeah.
ever phone it in, but he's always going to be fun to see. You know what I mean? And he's doing fun with this.
Do you think William Hurt would have done as well, or could have played this part,
Yeah,
or the way it was?
I think he could have. I don't think. Here's the thing about Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford, while a good actor, he is not like a great actor, if that makes sense. Like he is a movie star, and there's a difference between a movie star and an actor. Like Tom Cruise can act, but Tom Cruise is a movie star. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what Harrison Ford is. He is a movie star. He can act, and he can act well, but he is a movie star. William Hurt is an actor who happens to do movies. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that he adds a little bit. He could add a little more gravitas to it, but that's just me.
And a little bit of trivia. Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford were in Hollywood Homicide together way back when in 2003.
Josh Hartnett, baby. Dude, I love me some Josh Hartnett. Baby. I'd love me some Josh Harts, I'm telling you, man.
Who doesn't? I mean, who doesn't?
He has my heart. I'm telling you. Like, I'm glad that he's kind of having a little bit of a resurgence lately. What he was in, what was that movie he was just in?
Trap.
He was in Trap, and he was also in the Nolan film, the atomic bomb movie.
Yes, yeah, Oppenheimer.
Thank you. I'm like, good. Give me more. Give me some more hearts. I love it.
If you like, have you ever seen Lucky Number 11?
I know it, but I haven't seen it. I've heard it's good though.
check that one out. That's really
Yeah.
good.
I legitimately love The Faculty, and I know we are completely
Yeah.
off topic at this
No,
point.
it's no. The Faculty is. I haven't seen that one, but I've always heard good things about it.
Dude, like when you're done, go rent that movie. It's so much fun. And the cast, you're like, dude, they got a great cast for such a small film, or not small film, but like a late 90s film. Soundtrack
Yeah,
is great too.
I think at the time it just seemed like a Tommy Hilfiger ad.
Well, it was, but
Yeah,
you know,
it doesn't make it a bad one. Yeah.
let's get back on track here.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
if
We'll get back.
do yourself a favor because the soundtrack is great. It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. Anyway,
Gotcha. We'll reshoot that. Oh, speaking of reshoots,
hey.
another big actor, right? Another big actor that was in this movie was Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah. Well, I guess he's not going to be playing Professor X.
No,
That's the end of that.
I mean, and I know you don't like this, but I was honestly thinking he could have played a good Victor Von Doom.
Yeah,
You
fine
take
with that.
Latveria and you don't put it. You have it more instead of Eastern Europe. You have it somewhere where he could have played the character well, and I think he has that gravitas that I could.
Here's the voice. And that's the thing is you need someone with a voice of authority. And the nice thing about Doom, for the most part, it doesn't matter who you cast, as long as you know that they can still voice act, you're good to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which we'll see how RDJ does.
I'm curious how that's all gonna play out. I mean, is it whatever. We will literally cross that bridge when we get there.
Yes. In fact, he played the character Sidewinder. Serpent Society. And he was not originally part of the movie. He was added during reshoots.
Yeah, it was like a quarter of the film was like added for reshoots. Like,
yeah, I think what I saw in a video that they said like we only did 3 weeks of reshoots, but that's actually quite a bit of the movie.
Yeah,
but it wasn't like a lot of money, so it was a lot of like the interpersonal stuff, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to wonder like what they were covering up there, what they were trying to fix that was in the original cut.
Well, it sounds like they made the Serpent Society a little bit more comic booky because there was Diamondback that was originally in it, and then
Diamondback was supposed to be in it.
And Sidewinder was originally supposed to be a WWE guy, Seth Rollins.
Okay,
Seth freaking Rollins, I should say. Excuse me. And so they went more with Giancarlo, and they barely had. It was a Copperhead. Copperhead was the guy who
fights at the big. Well, that's what I was saying. So that's that parallel. Like that fight with Copperhead was very similar to the fight that Evans had with or whatever Cap had with Batroc the Leaper. It felt very similar. Yeah, I mean the Serpent Society goes back to I think like the Mark Grunwald days in the comics, and like all those cats when he was Red Cap, and all those cats were like straight up like wearing like they looked like Serpentor from G.I. Joe, with the right. All the snake memorabilia and like scales and shit. And yeah, you probably don't need to do that here, but it would have been fun.
Yeah, I mean, even Constrictor has been a character that's kind of been pushed throughout other books too. It's not just like Serpent Society based. I think he's one of the only ones.
He's currently in the Wolverine book right now. I think they've done this whole thing with adamantium being
another connection with adamantium.
It's like the adamantium in that is like alive somehow, and it's turning all people who have it their adamantium goal. I don't know. It's stupid.
Oh boy.
I wouldn't say it's stupid, but it's a choice. It's a choice what they're doing.
There's always a choice.
It's always a choice.
Yeah, there's always
but yeah, I thought he was fine. I don't know if he was like used enough or if he was used properly. He was just again that attack on the car felt very similar to like when Winter Soldier attacks. Like in those car scenes with the Winter Soldier. It just had that same kind of again. It felt like this movie was like, hey, that Winter Soldier movie was really good. Let's just
kind of templatized.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate.
But Giancarlo, I think anything recently and currently, anything he's been in has been just great for me. I think he's just good. He has that menacing gravitas that I just like, and just
he's kind of like Pedro Pascal for me. I think that both of them are like bordering on a little overexposed. If I'm gonna be honest, I like both of them a lot. I really do. It's ironic that both of them were both in Mandalorian, but it's like they're right on that cusp of like you might be out there a little too much. I do like you. I think you're great action. Yeah, exactly. It's like look at Pedro. I mean, that dude's in what he's got Mando, he's got Last of Us, and then he's Mr. Fantastic.
Well, he's in a little movie Fantastic Four, I guess.
It might be the next MCU film, but overall,
it's not. Thunderbolts is.
Oh, that's right.
We keep forgetting with Thunderbolts.
Well, and speaking of Thunderbolts, they did bring Bucky back. Apparently, he's going to be a congressman, so that'll be
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. I like kind of what they're doing, but it's also like this guy was an elite assassin. How are they going to cover that up? He kind of killed a lot
I
of
think you
people.
lean. I think you lean into it.
Oh
That's like
goodness,
I
vote for
took out
me,
my
or
enemies. I washed my arm in the dishwasher.
yeah, see this Wakanda, and it's my international politics and work right here. I'm like,
I imagine that might be part of the plot of Thunderbolts. Is like it gets revealed who he actually is, or something like that, and it kills his career, and then he has to form the not Thunderbolts, or whatever.
yeah, maybe because in the latest trailer from the Super Bowl, they are in this huge hearing, like a Senate
Yeah,
hearing.
yeah.
It sounds kind of that sounds like it could be it. Yeah, no, that sounds right. But going back to other actors, Tim Blake Nelson comes back.
Mhm.
Samuel Stearns, the leader.
Yeah. Apparently they not reshot, but they had to like do a bunch of CGI work on him to fix that.
Mm-hmm. No,
Because
that's that, and then there's other scenes from the trailers and different spots that were just not in the movie that involved him. I guess he had more outside stuff, like
okay,
more like him and crowds type of thing. So
yeah.
it just
Well, that one scene where he comes up on that Admiral says, "Well, Admiral Case." I'm like, "Do you know that guy?" I'm like, I felt like there was a plot that got dropped there.
yeah, it just seemed kind of weird. You see that it maybe only because he had a connection to
Yeah,
the boat that they're at, but it wasn't explained. It was just like Admiral, like we should know who he is.
yeah. It was definitely. It felt very much like, oh yeah, that was a plot, or it was the whole thing that got dropped because it's like, why did he have to go to this one guy's house to make a phone call?
Right. And when he's been doing phone calls already before.
Yeah,
And again, this character was brought over from the Incredible Hulk, which
yeah,
I mean, everybody kind of knew who he was in that movie, or we've been waiting for this moment.
yeah.
So it's been kind of years in the making. He was amazing in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? It's like
Yeah.
that's like a family favorite movie for
Oh yeah.
us, and
Nice.
he's amazing. And then The Ballad of Buster Scruggs is just a fun movie that he's in.
I just wish he had said something. I am a leader of men. I wish he had
Oh,
said
oh.
something like that. I don't know. I'm like, I was keep waiting for him to say he's the leader. I was like, he couldn't say that, could you?
Yeah, I know. No, I guess not. I
Let me
mean,
lead you on this mission.
yeah.
Or something. I don't know
Oh
anything.
goodness! It's just see somebody like walking you down. Don't have too much lead on that, and then
Yeah, it's something like that exactly. Let's bury the lead on this story.
bury the lead. I don't mean to bury the lead. It looks in the camera, and then just
Yeah,
kind of winks.
yeah, whatever. But yeah, he was fine. Where he was used, he was fine. He's got a great voice. I mean, like you
Yeah.
could hear like half of it was all voiceover. I'm like, oh yeah, that was a voice. That was a pickup. That was a pickup. That was a
Mhm.
pickup. Or that was in the VO booth.
Yeah, and his character too was the leader, but it seemed like a little bit mixed with
With the
Mastermind,
yeah,
a
let's
little
say
bit, or no, the Mad
intelligentsia a little bit.
Thinker,
Oh, Mad
the
Thinker.
Mad
Okay.
Thinker. That's who it was. Yeah, more
Yeah.
the Mad Thinker with the whole probability stuff.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
Mad
Yeah.
Thinker, that was his whole thing. Like he could see
Yeah.
the probabilities. So there was a mix on that a little
Mhm.
bit, and then it, he was okay. He was good.
He was fun. He could have been used more. He's a good actor. Like I said, his voice is great. Use more of that. And I would love to have seen a little bit more of like the big effing head though. Like I
Yeah.
wanted that. I was like, oh, he's got pimples on his head and he's green. Great.
Right,
Like,
right, right. And it's kind of, ooh. But I think also I would have liked more of the Manchurian Candidate stuff used. Like you don't know who, other than that first scene, you kind of know who's going to be turned. It's kind of slid out, but it'd be better if like who would be turned from the music, which the song was Mr. Blue. That's kind of a connection to his username in the Incredible Hulk. He was Mr. Blue, while Edward Norton was Mr. Green. Kind
oh,
of
really?
that
Oh,
little,
interesting.
yeah,
That because like it's funny. I don't remember that, but I just remember from the comic books actually. The Bruce Jones run. I want to say it was like it was in the early 2000s. I want to say it was John Romita Jr. and Bruce Jones. I want to say that it was
Mm.
Bruce Jones. But anyway, yeah, there was like a mystery where like Mr. Green, the Hulk, is talking to some person, Mr. Blue, and we don't know who it is. The mystery is eventually it's revealed that it's Betty Ross that was actually helping him out the whole time. So
it's always Betty Ross.
it's got to be. Well, she was presumed dead at that point, which she's always presumed dead.
That's true. I think a lot of her stories, she's either presumed dead or just running away from either her dad or from
Dad or
Bruce.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's interesting. What other whatever
Other people we had in there that had big parts, like we've already said, Danny Ramirez is Joaquin Torres, the new Falcon. We had
It's fun.
Carl Lumbly. Carl Lumbly, I think, was the VI. Like he was killed it in this movie.
Yeah, he was fun. He was a lot of fun. A lot of
He
fun. And
came
that's
back
what I'm
as
saying.
Isaiah
Like,
Bradley.
I would love to have seen more of him. Like I said, I would love to have seen like a flashback to 1950 and just watching him wreck, rock right through a base like to save his men or something like that. Like,
Yeah, or the mission that got him arrested
yeah,
for, or something.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, because that's what they said. He got arrested for saving his men,
right.
in Korea. I'm like, dude, that would have been cool to see. Just and like you could have used that like that vintage Captain America suit they used in Truth, the miniseries Truth. Like that would have been
Yeah,
cool. You know what I mean? Like that would have
yeah,
been
with
like the triangle shield or whatever, and
totally, and the
like it's
mask
like
over his head and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like I think that would have been really cool to see. But I digress.
And also digressing is the Shira Haas as Ruth Bat Seraph, which that was a Hulk original character as well. And
Sabra, right?
yeah, Sabra, and they didn't mix up, I'm sorry, but they changed her character more where she
Yeah.
became ex-widow.
Yeah, she was a widow assassin.
Yeah, and they kind of took away from the Israeli backstory and just said, oh, she's from Israel. And that was kind of
Yeah,
it.
that was it.
And then also we had Zosha Rockmore as Layla Taylor, who is also is actually a comic book character for the Falcon, who's used to go out with the Falcon and became a journalist and then try to fight the drug trade or something like that. So there was that kind of connection, but she was good too. I think everybody acted very well in this movie. I thought, which is
at no
great.
point was like rolling my eyes. Even like the guy who was it Dennis Dunphy, who's the SWAT team guy.
D-Man. Yeah, it was
D-Man. I was like,
yes.
is that Demolition Man? No way. It is. I was like, man, you did my man dirty. You killed him. I was like,
I know. With a heart condition, which is in the books, he had a heart condition.
Yeah, I was like, that's messed up. And if you don't know it, in the comics, there's a character named Demolition Man who was like a former wrestler, and he literally wears a costume that is like Daredevil's old yellow costume mixed with Wolverine's brown and white, ears from like the old 80s. And it's just like, he's kind of like a bum, literally like a bum in the books. Like he like pals around with Captain America and he's like lives in the sewers. Like it's like
it's one of the worst characters, but I think they did him really well in this movie. Like they MCU-ified him, which was good.
And then they just killed him. I was like, oh, well, I guess we don't have to worry about seeing him ever again.
Yeah.
It was kind of like when was that first BVS, like when they kill off that journalist in the opening scene. I'm like, oh, that was Jimmy Olsen. I was like, what? That was Jimmy Olsen?
Yeah.
Why did you do that? I'm like, no.
Who's an international spy all of a sudden?
Yeah. Kill Jimmy Olsen. I thought it was interesting. A person supposed, because the other thing, maybe the reason I just realized maybe they leaked as much as they did is because 99% of this film got leaked in terms of like plot points. Like I was reading up on Reddit and apparently like everything, like all the leaks were just like, here it is. And the only thing that didn't happen, according to these leaks that I was reading, was Amadeus Cho was supposed to show up. And that was a no-go on that one, I guess.
Supposedly was the other man on the phone that found out what those pills were doing.
Oh,
like
interesting.
That was supposedly what was that was going to be. Like he was a Stark engineer, and he figured out that the gamma radiation is in those pills that was giving to Ross to turn him into the Red Hulk. So that was like his inside man. Yeah.
If you don't know who Amadeus Cho is, he's the totally awesome Hulk. He's basically the Hulk but smart, and he was kind of used when they were kind of trying to update a lot of the older characters with like basically add some diversity to the Marvel Comics universe. I actually totally like him, and I think they should have had him. Like that would have been cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It would have been a good addition and something for the fans. And his book was great when he was in the Incredible Hulk, and then his teamwork with the Hercules. It could have just started to build that a little bit. Well, he was also Hercules out of nowhere.
He was also one of the champions for a while too. Yeah, I've been fine. I was like, it's too bad. I guess maybe that's why so much of the promotional stuff got leaked, because it was already all out there. I don't know. Well, anyway.
Yeah, and no matter how hard you try to stay away from it too, it's hard to when it's everywhere and all at once. Everywhere, everything everywhere all at once. It's hard to stay away from the spoilers, because I stayed away from. I only watched the trailer, and I still knew spoilers that were coming up. So
Yeah, it's interesting because like sometimes Marvel really keeps a tight lid on that stuff, and other times that stuff just gets out there. And it's not, whether it's, promotional like cup or just someone took a screenshot while they were on set, or who knows, it is interesting to see, what doesn't come through.
Remember when Legos would
Uh,
just spoil the crap out of everything, the legal
we
leaks?
we got burned by Lego leaks so many times because it was just literally like either A, it was based on like the first draft of the movie, or B, they're like, here's a couple things. Like it was like, oh my God, here's this Doctor Strange thing. And there's a weird tentacle monster coming out. Is it Shumagorath? It's gotta be. Whole
Yeah.
thing of story about Shumagorath. I'm like, no, that wasn't that. That wasn't that at all.
No.
Didn't
Look at this.
happen.
Look at the uniform this minifig is having. So what's
You're
good?
not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I can't tell you how many stories I did at Nerdist based just on Lego leaks. I'm not kidding. Like, it's like, well, Spider-Man, well, we see someone in green in the background. It's got to be the Green Goblin. So, no, it wasn't. It's nothing.
No.
It was nothing.
There's just nothing.
It's like,
Somebody just photoshopped something different.
yeah, seriously. Anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, it like we said kind of before, I just showed how much the studio didn't have much faith into this movie with the
Yeah,
reshoots, with the leak stuff.
I think they were just trying to get it out at this point because it was supposed to come out last year, wasn't it? It was like a full year has been delayed almost.
I believe so. That the MCU timeline has changed so much that I
Well, yeah,
just can't
post
even remember
COVID.
what is
Well, especially post COVID, like everything is either stretched or shrank or moved or
right.
whatever. Yeah, I think, I am curious to see how Thunderbolts will do. I think that's probably arguably like their first, like, okay, we got our shit together. Although we
Mhm.
said that about that theoretically this was going to be it too. I was wrong, by the way, completely wrong about the shield getting crushed.
Oh
I told
yeah,
you, and
yeah,
I told you I was going to be wrong.
yeah. Because yeah, you didn't. There's nothing. There's no new shield. There's just a new suit. Like his wings got crushed
Ripped
more than
off it.
yeah.
Well, and there you go. Again, one of his rings get ripped off. That happens in Winter Soldier. Damn it.
Oh yeah, huh? Wait, that does it get
Yeah.
ripped off?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Bucky
yeah, yeah,
rips
yeah.
one of
Yeah.
them off and throws him off the helicarrier, man.
All right. That's right. Well, it just shows you how strong the Hulk was too, because he's ripping off vibranium.
Yeah, it's true. Well, that's where I think it would have been cool to see, like, maybe the shield get, like, crushed and, like, okay, hey, we got some of that adamantium now. Now we're going to fuse it with that. And, like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Or just a little crack or something,
yeah.
or just a
That'd be
big
cool.
fist indent, a fist indent.
Yeah, or even if he like, grabbed it with his hand and just, you see it start to, like, bend or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that,
Kind
I
of
don't
like when
know.
we're getting you see in the latest Thunderbolts trailer.
Oh, yeah, you see
You
that. Yeah,
see
that's
the
true.
around his arm. Yeah,
Yeah, but that's not the
it's
true,
not the one.
true shield. Good
It's
luck.
not the one.
Good luck, U.S. agent. Jerk.
Yeah. Yeah, and then speaking of adamantium, this was the first movie that officially introduced adamantium and officially, finally, did something with that celestial island, which was
Yeah.
been the big joke
Well,
around MCU.
maybe. Technically, in Miss Marvel, you do see a headline in the background of like one of her
Yeah.
shots, and I only knew this because this was one of our biggest episodes on Fresh Ink back in the day. Was like it was like two of the headlines. I was like, one, like, is there a giant island man in the Indian Ocean? Something like that. And then the second one was like, man with metal bones causing fights in bars or something like that. Something like that. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's like,
I think those were throwaways. That was for
oh, they
She-Hulk.
were, but
Yeah,
it was still, was it She-Hulk that was in?
that was
Was it Miss
She-Hulk. Yeah.
She-Hulk, that's right. But I just remember like, oh man, we tripled our numbers on that one with that headline.
Oh, I bet goodness. Clickbait, clickbait. Everybody
Wasn't clickbait though.
clickbait.
It was totally true. I mean, it was there.
Hey,
It's not
yeah, well, you gotta
clickbait.
get the clicks if it's true.
It's not if it's not true. It's true. It's not clickbait.
But I love the finally. It's like, hey, it's adamantium. It's like the intro. It's clickbait.
It's clickbait.
It's it's clickbait. On second thought, it's clickbait.
Always on the first thought.
Yeah, yeah. But it's the into more of the mutant stories and mutant storylines, which could possibly, I don't know how, but could somehow make its way in.
I mean, I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that. I mean, I do think though that if they're going to do Wolverine right, I do think that adamantium will probably have been on the planet before this. It's just now we have this large source of it that is available. You know what I mean? Because if you're going to
Yeah.
do Wolverine right, he's been around since the 1900s or whatever. You know what I mean? Or the 1800s, whatever. You know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah.
been around for a minute. And I think that it's like, yeah, we've had access to some of this before because of various fucking space agencies that have joined us and the scrolls and all that shit.
Or so, because Cersei is the one that changed it into adamantium, so she could have been pulling from something else that she's seen throughout her
Yeah,
extended life. So yeah,
exactly.
it's plausible. It's a plausible plot point. So
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we'll see how it all kind of goes. But yeah, I'm down for that.
I guess it's harder than vibranium and it's more versatile than
Yeah, that's what they're
vibranium.
saying. It's better than vibranium. It's just I think the difference will be like, oh, vibranium still, absorbs sound and shock waves, whereas adamantium is just stronger
It's just
and
stronger metal.
unbreakable. Yeah, yes. It's like once you get it, once it's been refined, then it's like its place and will not break. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
what we learn in X2, you just got to keep it heated up, and then
Yeah,
then you can
that's
do
all I gotta
whatever
do.
you want.
Yeah, there you go. Just keep it in that state.
Which also,
Uh,
it's like they're mining the adamantium, the hardest metal. How do you mine? Like, what do you mine it with?
diamonds.
Just diamonds?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know much about.
well, it's just yeah. Yeah,
You don't want to pull
don't
back,
question
like
it. That's
you
true.
don't pull back, you open the curtain too much, you pull back the layers too much, it all falls apart. You just be
Yeah,
like, no, it's special Tony Stark lasers, you
right,
know?
oh, that yeah, or just other vibranium. I don't know. Who knows?
I mean that's the thing is like theoretically is if it's just a chunk of metal, you mine the stuff around it until you get the piece out. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I don't know
Well,
if it's that
who
way.
knows?
That's for smarter minds than me.
Right. And speaking of smarter minds, Red Hulk is that. Let's get into that
Nice
because
transition, by the way.
thank you. I know it was amazing, right? It's my transitions are as sharp as vibranium
Hey,
claws, right? Hey,
I got.
another. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's just an
So I'm trying.
adamantium clause, but we'll go with vibranium. Yes.
Damn it! I messed that up. Whatever. We'll keep it in. You know what? I was
I mean, Black Panther does
Black
have
Panther.
vibranium clause. Yeah,
That's
Black Panther. Yeah, that's what
totally
you
what I
meant.
was talking about.
Oh, there you go.
Totally.
There you go.
So, but some of they introduced Red Hulk, and there's some comic book changes and comic book accuracy. So the big comic book accuracy or pulled from the comic books was that if you notice when he was turning into the Red Hulk, which was kind of a gnarly scene, like you saw his hand, kind of like the yeah, it's kind of the what werewolf in Paris type of
Yeah, yeah,
American Werewolf from Paris type of thing. His clothes were burning off of him. They weren't ripping;
yeah.
they were just burning, and then he was
Incinerating.
becoming like heated around him. And if you were paying attention to our last episode, the Hulk just gets hotter the madder he is, so he leaks that heat. So I thought that was a good kind of touch. They didn't need to talk about it
Mm.
overtly,
Yeah,
but
Joe.
you didn't need to. They showed instead of said,
That's my
which was
point right
good.
there. Show, don't tell.
Yeah. And one big difference, though, between the books and the movie is what you alluded to, or not alluded to, you outright said. We had a dumb Hulk instead of the Red Hulk in the comic books, where he retained his intellect and he was cognizant, and this one was just more of a raging Hulk.
He's a behemoth.
Yeah. And I mean, you see, he's a big red rage monster.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, as I said earlier, I just think it would have been more fun if they had done something with that. Like, even if it had been just like a third act twist where you find out, oh yeah, I know it's there. I've been trying to keep it at bay with these pills, but whenever he comes out, I don't know. But then you have to explain why there's shredded clothes in, the Oval Office. I suppose. I guess that doesn't make sense. But
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
and there's
I
some
would have
other
liked.
scenes
Yeah, I
they
would
could have
like
done.
to think a little bit more like done with that instead of just like, okay, he's a Hulk monster, and we're gonna stop him by sticking my wing in his chest. Done.
Yeah, I mean, a vibranium wing, which a lot of people are misconstruing, where it's like,
Yeah.
well, he's not as what is it, invulnerable as the regular Hulk. Well, the regular Hulk would also get cut by vibranium as well.
Mhm.
It's
Well,
not,
and I believe, well, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's it right there.
and
Like the thing we talked
he,
about last episode. There's like literally, I mean, like the Hulk would, he is not resistant. It's not like he's like you can't cut him. He like literally, I forget who it was. I think it was like Razor Claw. If it's who I think I don't remember who the guy, but it's like his fist for it's like he has blades for fists. He literally slices open the Hulk's chest and he holds his hand against it, and his healing factor heals over it, but he gets cut. He has blood.
yeah, and they showed that too in the movie. I kind of caught it when it was kind of cool, where he pulls out one of the feathers, or the vibranium feathers that Falcon, and then the whole healed, but it like burned itself, like it healed, like singed itself away, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's good stuff in there about that stuff. But I mean, I think it's
Okay,
something they could have really
expanded on.
done well, like expanded on, or just done well by keeping it out of all the marketing stuff.
Yeah. It's kind of hard. I mean, it's the same with like Thor Ragnarok, where it's like, you see the Hulk, it's like that's like, numero uno, like that's what's gonna sell the movie. Like, oh my God, there's a Hulk in a Thor movie and they're gonna fight. I mean, like, I'm fine. I didn't mind, like, obviously we knew Harrison Ford's gonna be the Hulk. I think they did try and hide it for
Mm.
a while, but it was kind of obvious that even like there's like an image of like Harrison Ford, and it's like, oh, he's wearing tattered pants. Well, he's gotta be the
Yeah,
Hulk. So I don't mind like that reveal.
yeah.
I just like all the mystery and the nuance that went into it. I wish hadn't been revealed. Like, all the adamantium and the celestial stuff and like the leader stuff. Like it could have just been like all is Cap is in this movie and Red Hulk is going to show up and they're probably going to fight. Cool. Let's leave it at that. And instead, like
Mm.
all the characters. There was nothing like there was no the stuff that wasn't revealed. Like was stuff that we almost didn't care about. If that makes sense.
Looking back at it, there wasn't a lot that was not revealed.
Yeah.
So it's just we've already we saw the movie a lot already, but
Yeah.
that's kind of like our
General thoughts.
thoughts. What do you give it out of a letter grade?
I don't think it was a bad movie at all. I don't think that like it did anything offensive. I just think that it played everything safe. It didn't really tap into like racial identity or racial politics more. I wish it had done more of that. I think it rehashed a lot of, like I said, a lot of Winter Soldier. I thought the acting was fine. I thought the action was fun, but it didn't do anything. It didn't do anything new. And I think that Marvel just played it way too safe. I mean, like I said, it's not a bad movie. I don't think it's as bad as like the critics are making it out to be. Like I think the critics are just being really harsh,
Mm.
but I also don't think that it stepped up to the plate either. You know what I mean? Like I think getting on base is like I think it's like, yeah, it got on base, it hit a single, it got there, it got on
Mhm.
first base. At no point was I like, oh, this is offensive. It's just
Yeah,
it's just fine.
yeah.
Thoughts?
I,
I mean,
I I give it a B plus. I give it a solid B plus.
okay.
I had fun with the movie. Other than regardless of what I said against it, I still had a fun time with the movie. I still liked all the acting, the action. I thought was great. The storyline could have been better, yes, and stuff. I think again, it was like the marketing kind of killed it for me. So
Yep.
it was that with putting that aside, I still give it a solid B plus.
Again, it's just for me, it's not terrible, but it doesn't do anything new that like made me like, man, that was amazing. Like again, I walked out of Winter Soldier saying, fuck, that was great. That was a great
Mm-hmm.
movie. I enjoyed the hell out of that. You know?
I think what Winter Soldier had for it, though, that this movie doesn't, is what we weren't expecting that to come out of a Captain America movie. We were
Exactly.
kind of expecting it from this movie.
Yes. And that's the thing. It's like I still can, but even like I think Winter Soldier still aged well. Like I can go back and watch Winter Soldier and just be just as entertained. Like, those sequences are awesome. You know what I mean? And the
Mm-hmm.
plot is fun. Don't want to think too much about like some of the things that fall apart of like, well, wait a minute, if they have masks, they can just hide their identity. That changes a lot, I don't need that.
Yeah.
But anyway, again, and I say C plus, you could probably talk me down to a B minus. I don't think that I'd be like that hard to push if you needed to, but it's not bad.
Come
It's
on, give
just
it a B minus. Give it a B minus.
now I'm not going to.
Oh no, you said it wasn't that hard to push. You said think of B minus. I was just trying. It was giving you a little push.
That was too much. That was too much of a push.
Oh, all right. Please give it a B minus.
Fine. But yeah, that all said, again, I'm still invested in the MCU. I'm at this point probably a little bit more curious about what the DC universe is going to be doing, because it feels like probably going to be a little bit fresher. And I don't think we'll get that fresh factor until maybe like FF or when the mutants and X-Men really hit the ground.
Or maybe even Thunderbolts. I mean,
Yeah, maybe.
Thunderbolts
It's like,
seems like a fun movie. I can't wait for Thunderbolts as well. I'm an MCU fanboy, so I think
I know
that's
you
what's
are.
going on too. When they
You
do
have to
fan
take that into
service, that is to
consideration.
me. Yeah.
Well, I love the Thunderbolts, man. That's my jam. At least the OG one.
Yeah. And then post our grading, let's talk about the post credit scene. It's
Yeah.
really just the Cap going into the raft and seeing the leader talking to him, be like, "Hey, I won that bet," blah blah, and then the leader just kind of saying, "Yeah, you won on this world, but there's multiple." Like, just going to the multiverse stuff, pushing that. They're still pushing that, kind of pushing to the Doomsday, Secret Wars, the probabilities and everything.
It seemed like a 2010 credit sequence. You know what I mean? Like, there's more stuff coming. It's like, oh, cool. We didn't really tease anything. We already knew this was happening. Like, okay, foreboding stuff.
Yeah, I think if that post-credit scene was way at the beginning of the Phase 4, maybe, or something, when they were
Maybe,
starting the multiverse stuff,
yeah.
just not at the end. I would have liked to see a little bit more of the raft, like see who else was in the raft. I think that would have been
Yeah.
more Easter
Well,
egg filled.
well, look at Doctor Strange too. Because like, what is it? Clea shows up. It's and it's Charlize Theron. She's like, dude, the incursions are happening. It's like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Not only using like specific verbiage about like what's going on, like you've introduced a character and you've introduced a top tier actress in that role. It's like, oh, now we're talking. I know everyone didn't like the Hercules cameo at the end of Thor, Love and Thunder, or whatever it is. I was like, that's fine. You're interested. You're adding something new to the mythology. That's the thing. It's like, and it's to tease what's going to happen next. And it's like, okay, we already knew that shit was coming down. We already know that. And just to hear like a villain just say, oh yeah, well, crap's coming. It's like, okay, we knew that. All right. Bye.
Yeah. I think the Hercules post-credit scene would be better if it actually left something or led to something else.
Yeah.
I mean, meaning like we went back to it. We haven't seen him.
Yeah.
Mentioned.
Well, then again, I
else.
think they're maybe I'm going to be honest. Like after the Eternals, I think they're scared. They're a little gun shy because of the whole Blade aspect of it. Because I had heard, that there was rumor that Doom was supposed to make an appearance at the end of what was it?
Black Panther 2.
Black Panther 2, and they killed it because they're like, they did not want another Blade situation, but that's just what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not.
No, rumors. Everybody loves rumors.
Yeah, of course. It's what we're built on, baby.
You're right, So those overall, that was our final thoughts. I think we were kind of agreement.
I
That
like agreement. It's a good word.
it's a new one. It's just throwing out words, like we said. And in the multiverse, that's a word on one other Earth. So
that's absolutely true.
So, but overall, we thought it was a good movie. It wasn't great. It could have been better. Marketing kind of killed it, but I think it's definitely something you should still watch. I think just for the general, just moving forward in the MCU. I think it still kind of moves some plot points that can be more important in the future.
Absolutely.
Like something that we'll kind of go back on, I think, a couple times in some other movies.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely set up a few things, like I said, whether it's the Avengers of it all, the Bucky of it all, that kind of stuff. I think that, we're definitely, they're starting to kind of get the ball rolling for everything else. I think we'll probably see a little bit more of it with Thunderbolts, and definitely FF, but we'll see. But, again, not offensive. It's not an offensive movie. It's not as bad as everyone's saying it is. It's just, I
think some critics are just a little bit too far up their own stuff that they have forgotten to have fun.
It's about a dude with metal wings thrown around a shield against a big red monster. You got to put it into context.
Right. And it's like the 20th movie. Yeah. And one thing too, there was a weird weird beginning of the movie. It didn't have the regular Marvel fanfare. It didn't have the Marvel.
Yeah, you're right.
They didn't have the orchestra. Yeah. Which
I didn't even catch that right until right now.
One of the first big movies that is the first movie that hasn't done it since they started doing beginning like that.
Why was that? Do you know?
I heard that it was a conscious choice by the director because it wants to put you in a mindset of those old school political thrillers.
Okay.
That the beginning kind of looked like, and it kind of bring you into
I don't know if I agree
out
with
of
that
the regular MCU world. And
yeah. Not about that, but it's their choice. Obviously, I would have gone nuts for donuts on that one.
And they could just fix it when it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's true. That's what they do anyway. Hell, they could just do it in the theater. That happened. Did you hear that happened with Spider-Man 3? Literally, Spider-Man 3 releases and they uploaded like a new version, like changed some of the scenes with Green Goblin in the alleyway. Like they fixed the movie while it was in the theater.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, in the theater. I was like, is that crazy or what?
Man. And when you first said Spider-Man 3, you're talking about the Tobey Maguire one.
Whatever.
They fixed stuff with that?
The Tommy Hall.
Okay, so yeah, Tommy Hall. So this wouldn't be a comic book podcast if we didn't talk about actual comic books. So, what other books do you think fans should read if they were a big fan of Brave New World, or just if they want to get more info around the stories that are around this movie?
I mean, honestly, it was going to be one of my recommendations, but like, honestly, you could just pick up like this, any of the Red Hulk stuff, any of the Sam Wilson Captain America stuff, any of that stuff will be fine to, I think, if you want to get into it. But it's actually going to be one of my recommendations. They just relaunched Sam Wilson Captain America. I think issue 2 came out last week, and it's literally him fighting Red Hulk. Now, it's not a Thunderbolt Ross. I believe it's General Maverick. He gets it for an hour at a time kind of thing. But the book is really good, and it does get into the racial politics of it and the racial aspect of it all, and I thought that was really fun. I'd really recommend, if you have a chance, like I said, the second issue just dropped literally last week. You can go probably find the first and second issue and just kind of get into that. That's where I would start.
Oh, nice. And then going with that Captain America type of book, I would recommend United States of Captain America, because a lot of the movie delved into filling in the role of Captain America, how Captain America is more than the man. It's more than just Steve Rogers. And so United States of Captain America is a great kind of book where Steve and Sam going across the country, meeting different people who have either filled that mantle or are becoming a Captain America in their own way.
Nice.
So it's a good one.
I was going to say two points to that. Chris Cantwell, I think, wrote that miniseries, so like 5-issue miniseries, I think. Yeah. But your boy Greg Pak is one of the co-writers on the new Sam Wilson book, by the way. Greg Pak.
I knew I liked it.
Yeah, I was going to say he did Planet Hulk and World War Hulk. So he's your boy. Yeah, he's a co-writer on it. So just as an incentive to check.
Oh, there you go. There you go. All right. So, I mean, that's our general discussion about the movie. Hopefully you like this stuff. And with those recommendations, what other recommendations do you have? Like, what are you reading this week?
I'm reading everything again. I'm finally caught up. I'm almost done. I've got literally like an inch of books now. And it's like the last like 2 months of Ultimates titles, like Ultimate Spidey and those. And then I am completely caught up with everything. Enjoying all those books. Obviously, I think Ultimates is fun. Ultimate Spidey is fun. But Deadpool Wolverine was really enjoyable. It's a real throwback to like 90s like X-Men comics. So if you've been missing that, I'd check it out. The art is great. The story is fun. I think Ben Percy is doing the story on that. So he's written Wolvie before. And honestly, a lot of the DC stuff right now is a lot of fun. DC's kind of killing it lately. So that's my weekly recommends.
All the absolutes.
Even the all-in stuff, to be honest, as well.
Awesome. I love to see where that's going. And one of my big recommendations recently is a new series that started coming out. Is Green Lantern Corps. It's a new book by Jeremy Adams and Morgan Hampton, and it is taking the team back to just being a general Green Lantern Corps, going around and doing police things, and it's mainly following Jon Stewart, and there's no Hal Jordan in there, but it's Jon Stewart, Guy Gardner,
Kyle.
And a lot
Kyle's in there.
Where was he in this one? I totally missed him then. That's my bad.
He's in there. He's not.
That's not.
Yeah, he's
abnormal.
No, I'm pretty sure he's in. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's in that issue. He may not be a prominent person, but he's at least in the background.
Yeah, he is. He is. I'm sorry. Yes, he is. He's in like the big wide shots. Excuse me. And no matter how much I try to ignore him.
Yeah, you're not gonna. But Jon Stewart's great.
Yes, Jon Stewart. It's mainly following Jon Stewart and then Simon Baz. I mean, little. Somebody else shows up. Too. Yeah, Jessica Cruz. And,
it's all of them. It's what's her name from Far Sector? What's her name? Because it's the Far Sector one. It's Green Lantern. What is Lantern Girl or whatever it is from Young Justice. I mean, it's all of them basically. Everybody but
Hal Jordan. Yeah,
Hal Jordan
is Joe Million.
That's it.
Joe Million, yeah, or something.
Yeah.
But no, it's a fun start to this book. I can't wait to see what else goes on. There's already a tease for the next issue, which I'm interested in. So it's good. It's good stuff.
That's good tease. It's good tease.
Yeah. That's our episode. Thank you, everybody, for listening to us talk about MCU stuff and kind of giving our thoughts and our opinions on this. Please make sure to subscribe to us and hit us up on the old socials. We're on Blue Sky. We're on Instagram. We're on
Twitter, but we ain't using it.
We're no longer on Twitter. It's if you see us on there, please check us out on Blue Sky, and We Got Issues We Got Issues on Blue Sky, and We Got Issues Cast on Instagram, and I think you're at the BComp.
The BComp on Blue Sky right now. I mean, yeah. And as always, if you like the episode, please give us 5 stars. If you didn't like the episode, still give us 5 stars. You know, just recommend everybody and give us 5 stars. Had some really nice comments in the Reddit thread the other day. We posted this to the G4 subreddit, and there's some really nice comments in there from some of the fans that really meant a lot. Thank you to all of you out there.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. It's so cool that have other people that I don't know listen to this, like who aren't directly related to me in some way. So it's been nice.
Do you want to use the next episode?
Yeah, next episode, We Got Issues is getting Invincible. We're going to be covering Invincible, mainly the Compendium one, which is 147 issues, which I'm going through.
Yeah, the first one is it's 48, 50 issues, I think, basically.
40. Oh, sorry, I missed it. Yeah.
It's like 48. It's 0 through 47 plus like the summer special. It's essentially 50 issues, and while I am enjoying it, it is a lot. I was like, we need a break, man.
A lot to get through.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But it's like you said, it's a fun book. It's one of my favorite books, and the show is doing great on Amazon too. We're in the throes of season 3. Awesome. So again, thank you, and please continue to check us out on YouTube, audio only. We're on Spotify, we're on SoundCloud, and we're on Apple Podcasts. Apple.
Yeah, if there's someplace that we're not. Yeah, if we're somewhere else you're not and you want us there, let us know and I'll try and figure it out.
We'll try to figure it out. Yeah. If you want to tell us how to get on that, then yeah, totally.
Literally one person was like, "Can you get on YouTube Music?" I'm like, "Sure." I'm like, "There's like one view."
Yeah. So hey, we'll take it.
Hey man, I'll take it.
Thanks again, everybody, for listening, and we will catch you on the next one.
Peace.